Hi, and welcome back to Deepblocks Pro tutorial series. I am now going to go through all of our map layers, or most of our map layers, so you can see our capabilities on that front. We have a map layer panel. We're hoping to bring in hundreds of more layers into this, but we have really interesting ones that you should check out. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit and show you some of the more high-level ones. For example, total buildable area map. This is if you go to a new city, and by the way, this is live in 125 cities at the moment. With this map layer, the buildable area ratio layer, you're able to zoom out and get an understanding of how a city is planning for density. So this will tell you this is essentially how much you can build, the ratio of how much you can build per lot. And how we could see here in Miami that most of the density is planned for this area of Edgewater, downtown, Brickell, which is right next to the coast. We also cover the city of Miami Beach, for example, and you could see the areas of high density in orange, and obviously not as high as the city of Miami. So this is one of the layers. We also have census tract layers to understand median income, employment per population, and you're able to see this over time so that you can kind of get a feel of how the economic patterns of the city are changing. We're about to change to the 2022 update, which just came out by the census. The census is always 2 years behind. So we're about to go into 2024, and they've just released 2022. We also have, let me turn this off, we also have market rates. These are rates that are generated through our artificial intelligence systems, and you're able to get a very vanilla baseline at a census tract level of residential rates, office rates, retail rates, and so on. Our next tab covers, turn this off, the location of, for example, historic buildings, local businesses. You can begin to see clusters around the main streets and avenues, where the schools are, where hotels are. Obviously, Miami Beach is full of hotels. We have listings in South Florida. This is only available in the Tri-County in South Florida. We're testing. These are only commercial listings by the MLS. Projects that have been invested by REITs, and projects that have gotten LIHTC funding. So this is really interesting for affordable housing. We also have a series of environmental risk layers. We're bringing a lot more layers into this topic. For example, sea level rise. You're able to see which properties would be affected if there were to be, let's crank it all the way to 10, a 10-foot surge. This is a very heavy layer, so you see it takes a little bit of time at this zoom level to come in. But you can very quickly understand that there are areas in downtown Miami, for example, and in Little Havana that will not be affected by a 10-foot surge. And these are, extremely valuable regions. So this will give you that understanding. These are very basic, like what road types we have, traffic counts. And also I should say that if you have any questions on any particular layer, you're able to press here to see what layers you have active, and I'll give you an understanding of the legend of that layer. So all layers will have a legend. I'll keep it open for now. And incentives, for example, opportunity zones, DDA and QTCs, and you'll get a description. I should have had that on the whole time. So, but now you know. So let me turn this off. And of course you have your zoning map that you're able to see the zones, the zones that allow for certain criteria. And if we zoom in a little bit, once we see the parcels, we're able to also search by zone. And I did a video on the search capabilities, but just to give you a quick, you go to the search engine, and let's look at all the D1 zoning districts, which, let me see, no parcel. There's no D1 zoning districts here. Let's see, T30. Oh, actually, I had some previous, let me go back to D1. If it's on this panel, it should be it should mean that there are some on the viewport. So now we've just selected all the properties that are in the D1 zoning districts, and my apologies, I had some other criteria selected. So if you're looking for, a specific zoning district, here they are, and the map will help you see that. So with that, I conclude our map layer tutorial, and on the next tutorial, I'll go into our 3D modeling.